Welcome to Undiet Your Coaching Podcast. I'm Stephanie Dodier, clinical nutritionist and creator of the Going to Beyond the Food method, and I'm on a mission to help all coaches undiet their life and their coaching business. Ready? Let's do this. Hello, my dear colleagues, and welcome back. This is episode 50. I know, I didn't realize as I was preparing for recording this podcast that this is podcast 50. We're halfway through the first 100 episode of this podcast. And it's a pivotal podcast episode, so it's perfectly lining up to episode number 50. It is a pivotal podcast for two reasons. Number one, I'm going to take you inside of my brain. And then number two, I'm going to teach you through this podcast what I just created, the 10 principle of non-oppressive business culture. Now, it's going to be a total writing off of intuitive eating principle, but we're just going to make this fun. So a little bit of background as to why I'm recording this episode. On the last podcast, 49, if you haven't listened, by the way, podcast 49, you should go there first because that's where it's all started. Podcast 49, I took you inside of my brain in a place where actually with one of my masterminder friend, somebody that I have a lot of respect for, and how she was coaching me on how I was teaching and coaching business, and the realization that I had back in February around the quote problem that we are experiencing in our industry as to why we're not growing fast is because we are doing business the diet culture way. So the last episode, 49, is business culture versus diet culture. And I spent 30 minutes walking you through the parallel between diet culture and oppressive system and the current way we're being taught to do business. And if you've listened, you probably felt my passion. It's because it's deep in my body. It took a lot of time for me to get there because it was deeply encoded in my DNA and I had to pull it out of myself. And it has become the way that I see business and life. And it's revolutionary for me because I've been in business for 20 plus years between the corporate business and now entrepreneurship. So changing the way you've been seeing something for 20 plus years is monumental in someone's life, right? That for you may want to think about if you've been in diet culture and dieting and trying to shrink your body for decades, the transformation you had to go through in your mind and in your life perspective in order to land in a body neutral space was revolutionary and monumental. That's what happened to me with business. Now, I had a lot passionate on podcast 49 about the parallel for it. And then by the time I closed the recording, I realized that I didn't spend any or very little time about what we should do instead. I'm like, oh, Stephanie, you're not a great teacher. You're not telling them what to do. So here we are. So instead of deleting the episode and starting all over again, I decided to leave it as is and then to create this episode. And that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to take you through what we should do instead. And the title of this episode is Trusting Yourself in Your Non-Diet Business for a reason. Because if you agreed with the argument that I built in podcast 49 and you're like, yeah, it makes so much sense, then what do I need to do? And that's where the brain goes. What do I need to do? Action. Tell me what to do. So if you're here with a pen and a paper expecting me to give you the top 5 action that you should do in your business in order to run a non-oppressive business, not going to happen. It's not going to be strategy and action driven. Why? Because that's the problem with oppressive business culture. It's focused on action, on doing. So if we want to change the way we do business, we have to change the way we are approaching business. And trusting and knowing that what to do in your business is the fundamental value of non-oppressive business culture, is shifting the power from people outside of you to you. Okay? That's why this podcast is called How to Trust Yourself in Your Business, because that's how you're going to create a business going to be non-oppressive, that's going to be pleasurable, that is going to be feeling amazing to you, that you're going to have fun doing, that your clients are going to get a ton of result from, is by first taking care of what's going on in your brain and your belief and your thinking. So the goal of this episode is to teach you we're going to play with the 10 principles of intuitive eating here, like the 10 guidelines or the 10 ways to change your perspective on business in order to land in that place where your business is non-oppressive and it feels good and it's joyful and makes money and it gets clients results. So the non-oppressive business culture. You ready? Number 1, reject oppressive business culture. That's exactly the first principle of intuitive eating, because that's where we need to start. We need to start at a place where we reject this whole notion of 6-figure in 6 months. Or now, what I had on my feed Facebook yesterday, grow from 0 to 7-figure in 12 months. That's $1 million, people. Grow your coaching business to $1 million in 12 months. Like, how ridiculous is this? Anyway, so stop following all of the people that are leading you to build an oppressive business culture. Check out your podcasts. Check out the books you're reading. Here's another one. Investigate if you have a business coach or part of a business coaching program. Investigate the value of the person who runs the program, who created the program. What's their personal value? Are they in alignment with how you want to portray value in your business? Here's a tip. If the person creating the program or your coach is partaking in diet culture or wellness culture, they're probably not lining up in your values. And guess what? It's not that they're, quote, bad. It's just that's the way they're deciding to live their life, which is totally fine. But that's going to influence how they're approaching business. Guaranteed it's going to influence it. And that's going to influence their coaching and their teaching. And that's probably why some part of their coaching or their teaching feels yucky, is because you and them are not lining up in your value system. So go investigate all of that and then clean that up. Okay. Principle number 2, honor your knowing. Just like we honor our hunger. Honor your innate wisdom. Honor your intuition, your highest knowing. However you call this, honor it. When you have to make a decision, when you have to take an action in your business, are you checking in with you and your knowing? If we know what to eat, when to eat, and how much to eat, we damn sure know which decision to make in our business. It's a lot simpler than food in our entire human machine. Like, if we know how to feed our machine, our body, we certainly know what to do in our business. Why would it be different anyway? Right? Making the decision and knowing what to do in our business is a blend of cognitive function and central nervous system function, right? The interoception awareness that you have for your hunger and fullness and satisfaction cue, this interoception awareness is also present to make decision in your business. We call that in my program the body compass. We tap into our body compass to make decision. So honor your knowing. Principle number 3, challenge the, quote, normal business rule. Everything that is the norms, the standard, the right way, the right pricing formula, the right strategy, the right approach, all of that stuff, challenge it, because there's no such thing. I know this is uncomfortable, especially when you're starting, but that's your work. Your work is not to find the right thing in the norm and the standard. Your work is to become comfortable, feeling uncomfortable, to master discomfort. That's how you're going to create result in your business. You're not going to create result in your business because of the right action you've taken. You're going to get successful in your coaching business because you've mastered discomfort and you're like, bring it on. I'm still going to tap into my wisdom, even though I feel uncomfortable, because I believe in me. Principle number 4, respect clients' agency. Damn right we do. Our client are human and they can make decisions for what is right or wrong or not good for them at that moment. We don't, quote, force people in making decisions, either by having a series of extra bonus or a massive discount or buy this for $97 and it's worth $4,900. Like that is all oppressive business marketing selling tactic. We respect, we build in our client's agency. Principle number 5. How am I being first? What am I doing second? There's a principle that I teach in my program that's called pause, question, choose. When you're about to make a decision to take an action in your business, pause, question yourself, tap into your innate wisdom, and make the right choices for you and your innate wisdom. How you show up to the action, who you are being as you take the action in your business will have a tremendous influence on the outcome of that action. So it's about how you think of yourself as a business person, as an entrepreneur, how you think of yourself as a coach, how you think about your program, how you think about your clients, how you think about the non-diet approach. That is way more important than the actual action. Let me give you an example, very concrete. Let's imagine that one of your action in marketing is to do Instagram Live. And just before showing up to the Instagram Live, there's different way you can show up to the action. But let's imagine you show up in your brain with the thoughts, conscious or unconscious. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm doing. Nobody's going to want to buy anything from me. I suck. I'm never going to make this happen. It's not working. You're showing up with one or many of these thoughts to the live. Here's what's going to happen. You can have the exact same script as me, meaning the exact same word. You can say the exact same word in the same order as me. But my brain is not polluted with these thoughts. My brain is very intentional. I'm a great coach. It's working. It's happening right now. People trust me. People like me. People enjoy listening to me. These are the thoughts in my brain. When I come and create a podcast, that's the thought that are in my brain. We can say the exact same words and it will land in people massively different. Why? Because the way you think and believe about yourself and what you're saying will have an influence on the energy behind your action, the tone of voice, the shakiness in your voice, the sound of your voice. My voice projects when I talk. Why? Because right now, if you were to see me, I'm standing straight on my chair. My body is open towards the mic. My hands are flying everywhere. I'm all in. Why? Not because I'm gifted, not because I have a special skill, because of the way that I'm thinking, how I'm showing up to this podcast or this live, versus a person whose body is collapsed, their voice is shaking, they're making sure they're reading every single word perfectly in the right order. People listening will have vastly different experience. One will be, I don't know this person, there's just something wrong with them. I don't know if I trust them. They don't look sure of themselves. Versus me, right? Two different experiences. So who are you being first before what you're doing? Principle number 6, selling is an exchange of value. Yes, you need to make money and you need to want to make money. Right now, if this is rubbing you and triggering you, totally okay, 100% normal. The way you think and believe about money is likely derived from a lot of conditioning where money was shameful. For an example, if you're a person identified as a woman and you've lived in a patriarchal society, which, hello, most modern society or patriarchal society, you've been conditioned to believe that as a person identified as a woman, making money is a bad thing. Why? Because money is power. You're not supposed to have power. If you're part of any oppressed group, and the more oppressed identities you have, the worse your belief about money are going to be productive towards you making money. That's the work you need to do. You need to go and decondition your brain, change your beliefs, change your thoughts, change the way you think about money, and then come into your business with believing that making money is amazing. The second part of this is understanding that fundamentally, business is an exchange of value, at least ethical business. We exchange value. Let me give you this example. We exchange value in my value. When you buy my program or you coach with me, my value is my process, right? My coaching process and my skill set in coaching. That is extremely valuable for my client, right? They want to know my process. They want to be coached by me because they see this as valuable to them. And I need to get value from them. And the value that I'm asking is money. So it's like an exchange of value. I cannot just give my stuff away and not expect value back. Who's going to take care of me? Right? When you don't make money, how great do you feel? Are all your needs responded to? Do you take care of yourself? Do you buy the food that you want to buy? Do you take care of your health? Do you take care of your nervous system? If you don't have the means to do that, how quality of coaching are you going to give to people? I want you to think about that if you're resisting making money. Here's another point of view about money that makes it essential for us as coaches to want to make money. If your client is not paying, because there's a lot of that, unfortunately, a lot of quote free coaching. When people are not paying, they're not committed. Why? Because they don't have what the quote says, skin in a game, right? They don't have a commitment. They don't have investment in the coaching relationship, in the program, and they're showing up to do the work because they're not invested. So investment right now is money. They're going to put money, good money. They're going to see value coming out of their bank account, and then you're going to turn around and give them value in resolving their problem. It's an exchange of value. So if that feels triggering, you know exactly what you need to do now. You got to go clean that up in order for you to be successful in running a non-oppressive business. Principle number 7, honor your desire. Yep. You have to honor your desire. You got to tap in. You got to take a pause, tap in and ask yourself, what is it that I want in my business? Be guided by your true desire, not your false desire. Your true desires are the desires that are guiding you towards the highest version of yourself. towards your growth, towards your full potential. And those desires may feel scary, and that's normal. That is 100% normal based on the human brain and how our system is configured to survive. It's normal that growth feels scary. False desires, on the other hand, are geared towards preventing suffering, mainly emotional and mental suffering, right? It's urgent. Got to find the right way. I don't want to fail because failing feels terrible. I got to do it perfectly so people don't judge me. I'm all in or I'm all out. And here's another thing about false desire. They're driven to conformity. They're driven for you to conform to social constructs. So, honor your desire, but your true desire. If you want more on this, I just recorded a podcast on the Going to Beyond the Food show. If you go to that podcast feed, Going Beyond the Food podcast, I think it's 324 or 323, one of the two. Principle number 8, respect yourself. That's right. Every step of the way of building, doing your business, all part of you must be taken care of. We're not a one-dimensional being. We are a 4-dimension being. You got to take care of your mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual being. Every part of the way, therefore, every decision must not only move you towards your growth and your goal, but it must also move you towards being respectful of you. Principle number 9, radical self-responsibility. Operate yourself, every part of you in your business, from a place of radical self-responsibility, not blaming, not shaming, not criticizing. From a place where you can evaluate what you did and the results you got neutrally as factual information that don't mean nothing about you. You can look back at what you did with absolute grounding and having your own back. Because if you don't have your own back, nobody will. So radical self-responsibility calls for self-respect and having your own back, not blaming. Which leads me in my last principle, number 10, believing in your possibility. It's number 10, but it could be number 1. Also, you got to wake up every day and believe that it's possible for you to have the business you desire. You cannot force yourself. You cannot hustle yourself to your desired business. You cannot hate yourself to your desired business. And you certainly cannot criticize yourself to doing the right thing to create the right business for you. None of that works. You have to have an unwavering belief in your possibility. Everything starts from there. This is how, at this day, June 2022, I see the way that I'm already operating my business and that I want to teach and coach how to build and run a non-oppressive business. And the result of these principles and running a business from this perspective will be the same as what we experienced when we liberated ourselves from diet culture. It's going to be freedom. It's going to be growth. It's going to be pleasure. It's going to be transformation. It's going to be success. Because we know, and trusting us and our knowing is what guarantees success. When we start veering away from that, when we start disempowering ourselves in favor of other people, that's when shit goes downhill. We don't want to go downhill. We want to grow your business. We want to throw down diet culture. And the way to really crash diet culture, for lack of a better word, is by you being successful in your business. That's the only way. You and the thousands of non-diet coaches, therapists, doctors, nurses, all of you out there, If each one of you is successful in their business, there's going to be thousands and thousands of people that will automatically be liberated from diet culture through your work. And collectively, when we put all of this together, this is how we're going to overcome diet culture. But we have to stay centered around aligning our personal, professional, and business value. We have to lead with self-trust, with empowerment, with trusting us, trusting others in their power and in our power. Wrapping this up with compassion, radical self-responsibility, quality over quantity. All of that has to be the way we lead our business. Now, I'm recording this in June 2022. I would like to invite you into being coached, into being taught by me to build your business under these principles. However, at that time right now today, it is not available to the public because I'm still testing it for the second time with my mastermind in my mentorship program. January 2023, it will be when it's open to the public. So stay tuned for that. Or if you're listening to the podcast past January 2023, then go on our website. Guaranteed there's something where you can join me to learn how to do business from that perspective, to decondition your brain from oppressive business culture. There's going to be something available. It's just not now because I want to do this in a way that it's the most efficient. And for me to do that, I got to test different way of delivering it and see how it lands in the most people in the best way possible. So call it my ethics. I'm doing this in a way that I know when I open this to the public, anybody can take this and run with it. In the meantime, in the show note, I've put a graphic of what I've talked about, like summing up all these principles into like 1 8.5 by 11. You can go download that and apply it into your business. I think this is good enough for you to have a serious impact in your business without having to work with me directly. And I would love to hear from you as this podcast lands in you, how it made you feel, what are you thinking about, how do you think you will be able to use this principle to impact your business right now. Would love to hear from you on social media or in our email, info@stephaniedodze.com. Would love to hear your feedback on that. So this was podcast 50. It was flowing very naturally for me and very excited to have this podcast land in you. I'll be back for podcast 51. And until then, I love you and go take care of yourself. Ready to shed diet culture from your practice and help more clients do the same? Awesome. We've got 3 resources to get you started. Simply go to stephaniedodze.com/pro series, all in one word, and access our 3 free training classes that are currently available. We also have a free PDF guide to intuitive eating, an article about the non-diet approach. We also offer a variety of paid programs throughout the year to support you in your journey to undiet your coaching practice. Join us at stephaniedodze.com/pro series, and I'll see you on the other side.